Hi, folks. Here's Paul Scorpin, and I'm down in Italy. Drove down here yesterday to spend some time to write, but that's not what I'm here for. A week ago, I returned from Anatolia after a 2-week stay there, um, because I had a group from Belgium and from the Netherlands, and I guided them through Tepeland, as we call it, Tepeler, where they found these remarkable sites, all dating between 9 and 11,000 years. And then we went on to Cappadocia and also to Konya. And as always, when I lead a tour like this, which are quite exclusive because they're small and because I've been going there for 10 years, my dog's barking, and I keep my pulse on all the discoveries that are going on there over these 10 years and try to make it there at least once a year with the group, either in German or in English. And this time I flew in 3 days before the group came because I wanted to see what they found in the meantime since I'd been there last. And that allowed me to visit some places that I hadn't been to and allowed me to revisit places I'd been to see what they've discovered recently. The last day that we spent in Chanliufra, we planned to drive all the way to Cappadocia, which is a 7-hour drive. And I asked the group if they wanted to see the largest mosaic museum in the world, which is in Gaziantep. And they said, what's the alternative? I said, well, we can go today to Saybek, and if you'd like, Kamek Tepe, and afterwards to Mendik Tepe. And it turns out that these folks were Tepe freaks like myself. So we said, okay, we'll pass on the Mosaic Museum, which is not easy, but it allowed us to go first to Saybek, and my driver has a connection there. So we were allowed to, even though it was closed, we were allowed to enter the premises and take a look at the remarkable figure there of a man holding his phallus surrounded by tigers or lions. And we also saw that they are doing a lot of excavation there, a lot, and have discovered a rather sizable community not far from what I call the temple complex. And then we moved on just a short ride, maybe 10, 15-minute ride to Kamek Tepe, which is also closed for winter. But these places are not protected. It's impossible to protect them. And we meant no harm, so we walked over those. And I have a form of experience these temples where I actually absorb them through my sense organs and also through moving over them. It's not for everybody. Some people want to understand everything, but some people want to be guided by their eyes and by their hearts, and I'm one of those people. And so I moved away from the group at Chamek Tepe and discovered what looks like a sacred street, a sacred path, or a gateway to the city. And as you'll see in the video that follows, I hypothesize that because the proximity of Kamek Tepe to Saybek is maybe 10 kilometers, there could have been some traffic between the two of them. Either mundane traffic, meaning people came to visit each other. And mind you, these are both huge, huge communities, okay? Or even to find a mate to marry and to find a family, or it could have been a ritual where the priest or the priest would come from one tepe to the other tepe to do a blessing or to do a ceremony. Who knows? And you'll see that in the video. I was quite amazed because we know about these sacred streets from the Greeks and the Romans. They're all over the place. Malay leads to the Apollo temple, and even Ephesus has one that leads to Ortega, the birthplace, one of the birthplaces of the twins. They're all over the place. But those are only about 2,300 years old, 2,500 years old. this sacred way, if it's true, would be probably 9,000 years old, maybe older. Because if you look at some of the photos from Kamek Tepe, um, it looks like it predates Göbekli Tepe. I say that because they're round and they're not as fine as Göbekli Tepe. I could be wrong. I try to stay away from speculation, as we all do, but we all are tempted by speculating. And then we moved on to a site that I tried to find the day before they came, but this time I had the coordinates from my good friend in Şanlıurfa, Erhan. And so I put on my iPhone, the navigator, and I led the bus driver to a site called Mendik Tepe, also just maybe 10 kilometers away from Kamek Tepe and Cyberg. And there we discovered an extraordinary site, absolutely extraordinary site, with underground passages, which you can see on my Facebook page. And then again, I wandered away from the group and I found another formation indicative of a sacred path that led away from the city quite far. And once again, I'm speculating, but to me, it speaks of a sacred path connecting these three sites, which are all in close proximity to each other. So I share with you the video I made that day. I was blown away, and rightly so, because I'm not an archaeologist. I'm an explorer of the human psyche and also of sacred landscapes like Egypt and Patmos and the Holy Land, which is on pause right now for good reason. But I do offer trips, as I said, to this area. I prefer to spend 1 week just in Şanlıurfa, and the next trip is planned for next spring. So, yeah, thank you for listening, and take care, and keep the fires burning inside and outside. Shamak Tepe, and I'm on the backside of the hill, and it appears to me that this is a stone-lined path, and probably it leads to another tepe like Cyberg, I would guess, because this is not a natural formation. And behind here, my people are walking around the excavation of what seems to be a very, very large community of circular forms with T forms in the middle. They're digging this out here. We're not supposed to be here today, but this path really is intriguing, very intriguing, because not far from here is Cyberg Tepe, which we just visited, and I suspect these two communities were very closely connected because you probably could walk from one to the other within a couple of hours. And here's the site that we were at is way over there, and something led me intuitively to come here, where they're building new houses, because nobody knows the dimensions of a tepe. We don't know yet. And even if we think they're small, they often prove us wrong by extending over a hillside or over a landscape. You can see they're doing digs, maybe they're preparing a road, and they've removed these stones from their place, and they look an awful lot like, indeed, that they form a circular structure. And if you look at this here, you see a rather large enclosure. And it's like here was a sacred path, sacred way. We know that from the Greeks and the Romans, that somehow you would walk this path, or it led to maybe another tepe. So the priests found another tepe. Now this is speculation, would come here along this pathway clearly carved. Maybe to visit another community to perform a ritual. Or somehow some exchange, maybe matrimonial. And you can see that this goes down and down and down, and if you bear with me, first I thought it was an enclosure because it looked like an enclosure, but these stones are definitely prehistoric. This term prehistoric befuddles me because how can you say anything is prehistory when everything is history? But it's a handy term to use to divide the ages. So this is one, I'm just walking along this path here because I'm curious where it goes to. And when I come to the end, if I come to the end, this is remarkable. This clearly belonged to the settlement here. But its function is not clear anymore. So now it seems to peter out. Let's see what we have here. Maybe it leads down to a plateau. It just seems it does because it just continues here. And here we have a seemingly natural plateau. Just remind you, we're in Mendek Tepe, where they've only started to dig this year. So they're trying to focus a dig up there, but if you look around the area here, you see amazing evidence of not only the size of this community, but also suggestive of maybe some of their belief systems or ritual activity. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I just after visiting one tepe after the other, and then continued to be blown away by the next, and I've never been here before. And they're waiting for me. But I'm going to continue as the tour leader. I'm allowed to disappear. I just wanted to look at this because it looked really provocative. That's the thing, you never know what you're going to find around a corner or a bend. Never. Okay. Thanks for listening.